All right, let's talk about a program that has been a fixture on pretty much every Windows computer for, well, decades. Microsoft Paint. Now, you probably think you know it. You know, that super simple tool for making scribbles and pixel art. But its real story? Oh, it's a wild ride of survival, a fan rebellion, and a high-tech rebirth that nobody saw coming.
I mean, just look at this. This slide says it all, right? On one side, you've got the classic Paint we all grew up with. It's simple, it's charming, maybe a little clunky. But on the other side, yeah, that's also Paint. That incredibly detailed, complex image was made with its brand new AI features. So the big question is, how on earth did we get from there to here?
To really understand Paint's journey, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Because for millions of us, this wasn't just some program. It was our very first time creating any kind of art on a computer. It was our digital starting line.
And what's so fascinating is that Paint wasn't even a Microsoft original. Nope, it actually started its life as a program called PC Paintbrush. Microsoft just licensed it and decided to bundle it with the very first version of Windows way back in 1985. So yeah, from the absolute dawn of Windows, Paint has been right there.
And this quote really nails why it became such an icon. Look, it was never the best tool, not by a long shot, but it was simple, and more importantly, it was always there. For a whole generation, this was the default first step into making something, anything, on a screen.
So, as Windows got bigger and better, Paint tagged along for the ride. The changes weren't always dramatic, but the program slowly morphed with the times, kind of like a little buddy reflecting the look and feel of each new computer era. You can see that slow evolution right here. It started out in '85 as just a black and white program. A decade later, with Windows 95, it got a huge facelift and could finally save JPEGs. Phew! Fast forward to 2009, and the Windows 7 version gave us that ribbon interface and some artistic brushes. For decades, it just kept chugging along. And then, 2017 happened, and Microsoft announced it was pulling the plug.
That news, in 2017, was a genuine shock. I mean, this program had been a constant for over 30 years. The thought of it just vanishing, it felt totally wrong. And this, right here, is where the story takes a massive turn.
And here's the kicker. They weren't just getting rid of it. The plan was to replace our simple, beloved 2D Paint with this new, way more complex thing called Paint 3D. The classic version was officially on the chopping block.
And that was the question everyone was asking. After more than 30 years as a Windows staple, was this really it? Was Paint about to become just a fond memory?
But then, something absolutely incredible happened. The public, you know, the everyday people who grew up with this thing, they spoke up. And they were loud. And it completely changed the entire story. The response was immediate and just massive. Microsoft themselves admitted they saw an incredible outpouring of support and nostalgia. The love for this quirky little program was so overwhelming that the company had to come out and publicly reverse course. The people had spoken.
And they didn't just save it from the chopping block. They kept it bundled with Windows. And in a beautiful twist of irony, its intended replacement, Paint 3D, was the one that eventually got tossed aside. The underdog won. You love to see it.
But that victory wasn't the end of the story. No, it was just the start of a whole new chapter. Because with Windows 11, Paint didn't just survive, it evolved into something genuinely powerful and surprisingly modern.
Okay, this is where things get really wild. The new Paint has features that artists actually use, like layers for building complex images. It's got a one-click background removal tool, which is amazing. And the headliner? A built-in AI art generator. Yeah, in MS Paint. You should really think of it as your own creative partner. It's there to help you brainstorm, to get you past a creative block, or just to instantly bring some crazy idea in your head to life right on the screen.
And using it could not be simpler, seriously. First, you just type what you want to see, like a corgi riding a skateboard on Mars. Then you pick a style, maybe photorealistic or pixel art. And finally, you just hit Create, and the AI whips up something for you. It's that easy.
And just to get everyone on board, Microsoft even gives you 50 free credits to start. Every time you generate an image, you use 1 credit. It's a pretty clear signal that they really want you to play with this powerful new tool. So with all these incredible new toys, it's worth taking a second to remember what Paint is at its core. Technically, it's a raster graphics editor. It's just a fancy term for a program that lets you make and edit pixel-based images. You know, like the JPEGs and PNGs we use every single day.
And that's really the thing, isn't it? For nearly 4 decades, its entire identity was built on being simple. It was the trusty, uncomplicated, no-frills tool you used for a quick crop, a silly doodle, or pasting a screenshot.
But now, with features that are starting to rival pro software, we're talking AI generation, layers, intelligent editing, can we honestly still call MS Paint a simple tool anymore? Or do we all just witness one of the greatest glow-ups in the history of software?